Well, hello. Welcome back to another Monkey Mind Relaxation Chatter about the chatter. I am your host, Cuddy Cudworth, the proud founder of Monkey Mind Relaxation, where you get the chance to change your thoughts, change your life. And everybody is always more than welcome to get yourself into the Facebook group. But welcome. How is everybody? It's great to see you all, even though technically I'm just looking into a camera and looking into the screen, but we are going to wait for all the comments to come in. I'm always sat here thinking, is Veronica? Oh, unless... By the way, before we even find out if Veronica's in, if you look at the line underneath, by the way, that is the best spelling, and I am not that good at spelling. However, Monkey Mind Relaxation, David Knight is going to be the host. Not yet. He's not coming in yet. The Hypnotic Secrets to Unlock Unlimited Self-Esteem. It's not self-esteem, ladies and gentlemen. It is self-esteem. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's getting more and more prevalent that there's low self-esteem and low confidence in so many people. And not just men, but ladies as well. It's going on. I always say that sometimes coronavirus isn't the real virus going around. You know, understanding your emotions and understanding self-esteem and self-worth is actually such an important part. And once your confidence starts getting hit, and look, life is tough. I will hold my hands up to that one. There is not this. I sit here on a perch of I understand how tough life is. But to succeed in life, we have to get tougher. We have to get stronger. And this is how we grow from failure. This is how we grow from making mistakes. And if you don't understand how that can play with your mindset and how that manifests in your mindset, it can start taking its toll on people. And self-esteem and self-confidence, from what I remember, it's never really taught in schools. It was never taught all the way in the schools with all those kind of great subjects that we had, such as maths, which I've never once used since leaving school in any way whatsoever. I could definitely always try and remember the trigonometry. I'm like, when have I ever used trigonometry in life? I've never actually used trigonometry in life. However, if you keep repeating the pattern of thinking, well, I can't do maths and I can't do maths, if you're not understanding of the linguistics and how that plays in our mindset, you keep repeating a thought of you can't do something, you can't do something, you can't do something. That becomes a belief. That becomes something so ingrained within ourselves that we don't realize what we actually can do. So if you're constantly going to school, and let's use that analogy of going to school, and you're doing subjects at school that you're just not passionate about in any way whatsoever, and you keep going and repeating, this is ingrained to us as kids growing up, you're going to get that belief about yourself that you're maybe not good at things and you're not good at certain stuff, and it starts playing havoc with our self-esteem. There we go. Thank you very much, Selena. It's changed it. So look, signs of low self-esteem, because I'm extremely excited to bring on my guest very, very shortly, David Knight, close friend of mine, also an absolute master at what he does. However, I thought I wanted to share with everyone some signs of low self-esteem and how does that show up in our lives. Because, and I always talk about this, when I was going through my tough times about 10 years ago now, I didn't know what I was going through. I wasn't aware of the signs. I wasn't aware of the signs that I had that was showing up and that was creating havoc with my mindset. I always put it under the monkey mind heading. And that's why I became a mind management coach, to help people get past all these challenges that we can have that we're not taught in schools. So look, touching on a few signs of low self-esteem in men and in women and how they manifest and how they change up. So a negative attitude, and I'm not talking about just being off for a day, but a negative attitude towards a lot of things in life, and not seeing the positives and not realizing about choice and how we can change the way that we think and see different options, and really creating a perspective of understanding that, yes, life is tough, but once we have the tool, we can get through these things. You can really, really, really start changing things that's going on with yourself. And that was the thing. If you know anybody around you, or maybe that shows up in your life, that negative attitude, constantly moaning, constantly down, it starts playing havoc on our emotional and mental health. So that's one of those signs of a low self-esteem person. Now, I'm going to go through about 6 or 7 signs of lower self-esteem. There's more, but I just wanted to slightly touch the surface with everybody for low self-esteem and how that can turn up, because it's going to attack your confidence. So jealousy comes easily to people with a low self-esteem. You might be in a relationship where you think, oh, I've realized that my partner is always quite a little bit jealous. That comes from an insecurity within themselves, and that maybe comes from that place of low self-esteem. So jealousy becomes really, really easily. Feeling insecure, and I have definitely been in a place where I was quite insecure in relationships in the past. And absolutely, I've had to work personally on my self-esteem and my confidence in abundance to be able to make those changes in life. But I wasn't aware of them, and I didn't realize when I was quite jealous in relationships where that came from. But once I found the seeds and pulled them out and realized that they weren't real, it kind of starts making those changes in life. So a constant fear of failure. Now, you may have this, or you may know friends that say, oh, I just don't want to succeed. No, I can't do this. And every time I try something, that would indicate a possibility that you lacking in that confidence could be coming from a place of low self-esteem. So a constant fear of failure keeps us frozen. It keeps us frozen in life. It stops us moving forward. And we as human beings do absolutely anything to avoid. Oh, hello, Kermit. Kermit D. Green's on. Hello, Kermit D. Green. Ooh, this is going to be a great topic for us to talk about, Kermit. Absolutely fantastic. We love this. What is the best way to develop self-worth when you have been neurologically programmed during childhood to be worthless and useless? Kermit, love that. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. We will touch on that because programming and being programmed is a part of it. Now, I'm going to actually, we'll discuss this when David gets on as well, because that's a phenomenal question. Thank you so much for getting in contact. So easily prone to influence. If somebody's easily prone to influence and following on others, that could come from that low self-esteem, because it comes from a place of not understanding how you can change these things. Kermit, I'm excited about that question, and I'm excited to be able to help you. And I know David's going to come in with some absolute blinding things for you as well, because programming is a big part of it. So bad at handling criticism of any kind. We can be bad at handling criticism at any point of juncture in our life, and it just keeps compounding and compounding and compounding. And that's the beauty of reframing, is once you can see that criticism could be a good thing because it helps you improve, that's how you start understanding you can improve and create a better self-esteem and self-worth within yourself. So men can face great difficulty in admitting their mistakes. Now I'm even going to hold my hand up to that one. I definitely tick the box on that one, but I have had to work on that. And one of those great quotes and one of those great sayings that I have seen in the past that I've said, and I say this a lot to the time, is I have to ask myself, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? Because they're not always mutually exclusive. So often not receiving that mistakes are there for growth. Mistakes are there for growth. They really are, but it turns up. Now, low self-esteem absolutely can compound and make anxiety and depression so much worse because we don't realize. And Kermit, you've hit on the head there. Cracking name, Kermit, by the way. Thank you very much for joining into the show. Veronica is listening. How are you, Veronica? Great to see you back. You've even changed your picture, Veronica, so that's absolutely lovely. Welcome to the show, Veronica. I'm going to wave to you just over there. Now, when you have low self-esteem, it does show up in your confidence, and it can keep you frozen and isolated. Frozen and isolated and not being able to get on with life how you possibly can. And in a world where we're compounded by comparison, it keeps you frozen, and you keep seeing that Instagram life and that social media life of people living their best lives. It's not always true, and working between those lines and getting through those and understanding that these pictures can create those emotional states with us always comes from a place of thought. Always comes from a place of thought. So today's show and today's fantastic guest is going to be, and we're going to have the whole show is dedicated to how not only using hypnosis, but how we can start making changes in self-esteem. And this gentleman is one of the finest at it. So I'm going to welcome him to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the show, David Knight. How are you, David?
I am absolutely fabulous, Cuddy. How are you?
I'm good.
It's good to be here.
Here we go.
I knew one day I'd be working with you and Kermit. Lovely.
Well, look, Kermit's asked a really good question. But before we get on to answering Kermit's questions, we're going to have a chat. We're going to have a chat because I definitely want to introduce yourself. Welcome to Monkey Mind Relaxation, the radio show at Men's Radio Station. That's quite a mouthful.
Thank you.
Now, we've done a podcast previously, which was how you use the power of the mind to heal the body.
Yeah.
And that was a phenomenal podcast. I genuinely adored that podcast. It was such a great catching up with you. Now, cards on the table. We have, and you're not a magician, but cards on the table. We have worked together on a previous life of cruise ships.
We have.
And you are a master hypnotist.
Correct.
Now, explain the term master hypnotist.
Okay, so really we're looking at two types of hypnosis for change. One type of hypnosis is hypnotherapy, which would make you a hypnotherapist. So hypnotherapist is somebody who uses the power of therapy to help people move forward. The second type of hypnosis that's out there is the stage hypnotist. And stage hypnosis is purely hypnosis for entertainment. And a master hypnotist is somebody who does both. It's as simple as that. You were hoping for some lovely big long explanation there of how clever I am.
Not at all. I just wanted to. I think it's because there is hypnotists, and I think the biggest thing, the second, and I really want to. The reason I got you on the show is I want to show people the power of what changes they can make in life, whether it's working with mind management coaches, life coaches, therapists. Change is out there and change is possible. And the power of hypnosis, and the reason I brought you onto the show is really to get past that stereotype of, oh, if it's a hypnotist, he's going to turn me into a chicken. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's still that connotation, that stereotype, oh, I wouldn't go to a hypnotist because he's going to turn me into a chicken. He's going to make me, he'll make me eat an onion.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not true. That's not true in any way whatsoever, is it?
No, it isn't. Obviously the entertainment side is great because it gives publicity and it gets the word, the message of hypnosis out there. So I think people will go and see a hypnotist, and from the show, hopefully if the show's done well, they will then go and search out hypnosis to help them make personal change. So that's the reason that I can do it. Hypnosis can be done, stage hypnosis can be done, but still with a touch of class. And a stage hypnotist may still use an onion as an example. Somebody on stage eating an onion. The crazy thing about that is when they eat an onion on stage, they actually eat it like an apple. So they nibble around it and leave the core in the middle. But the crazy thing is they actually taste apple.
Yeah,
taste onion. They're tasting the apple. So when somebody sees a change like that in a stage show, and very often a big part of the audience will think, well, maybe there's something in hypnosis, and there's something that I should look into. But a hypnotherapist is all about helping people to make the change.
Absolutely, that's good, and it is about making change. And that's a phenomenal thing. So first and foremost, David, thank you very much for being on the show. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
So today's show is all about increasing self-esteem. Now, I just highlighted some of the ways that low self-esteem, because I think most people wouldn't realize that their behaviors and the habits that they inhibit and the things that they're doing in life come from a place of insecurity, low self-esteem, low confidence. And there's always going to be that bigger problem, and people have had horrible things that have happened into their life, and that sticks. That really sticks into the brain and the mind. And that's what goes and gets really, really suppressed and really gets pushed down, so that it helps people. Well, people try to manage and get through and struggle through. I mean, I've got friends that struggle through as well. But when it comes to really unlocking the powers of hypnosis and creating self-esteem in others, Kermit is all over it today, by the way, David. I don't know if you can see the questions there. So Kermit, how is it that you have this ability to be able to increase self-esteem using hypnosis? I think that's a great tagline, and that is why you're here. So as Kermit says, first of all, I do like to say that Kermit D. Green says he's called himself Kermit because his fiance is a pig farmer. That's why the name came from Miss Piggy Rocks. I am not going to disagree with Kermit in any way whatsoever, and I genuinely believe that Miss Piggy is an absolute stunner of a Muppet. She genuinely is. She genuinely is. Miss Piggy's got the nicest eyes in the world. I'm going to make that claim right now. Miss Piggy's eyes are amazing. So you're on the show, David, to really talk how we can unlock the power of self-esteem and confidence using hypnosis. And Kermit's just asked, does hypnosis give access to the levels of the brain also accessible through meditation? Now, we love this conversation, David, because we talked about this in the podcast, is meditation and hypnosis. Brilliant. So, Dave, the show is yours. The stage is yours. You start wherever you want, and I am going to rattle on with questions to make sure we deep dive everything, David.
Fantastic. Just jump in, Cuddy. I guess I'm one of the ideal people to speak about confidence and self-esteem. If we go back in time to when I was 23 years old, young, handsome, and and a successful, fairly successful for my age, bank manager. And one morning I went into the office, went into the bank, and I was told that the bank had closed for good and to collect my stuff and leave. So I was instantly out of work, very soon out of money, and shortly after out of my home as well. And so I found myself sleeping in a car that wasn't mine, a car that a friend had lent me. And there's nothing nice about waking up in the morning in a car when it's freezing cold and the car's covered in snow. And I guess that was probably the lowest point in my life. But when I look back, I think maybe destiny had it planned for me. In the car, there was a series of audio cassettes. Remember tape cassettes? Could he even just about remember those? And I used to listen to those on a night. They were my friend's cassettes. He had them in the car, and they were motivational speakers such as Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, and Earl Nightingale. So we're going back a few years, and I found a cassette tape there that would absolutely change my life forever. It was called The Unlimited Power of Hypnosis. And I played it. I played it every night as I went to sleep. And today, I believe that hypnosis cassette moved me from being at my lowest through to a place where I started to believe in myself again and realize that there was hope to create a new future. So in my time of lowest self-confidence and self-esteem, hypnosis powered me forwards. And so after listening to the audio cassettes, that was my time to start learning hypnosis. So here I am sort of 30 years later, and I took the power of hypnosis, mixed it with personal development, and became a hypnosis life coach. Today, I'm the founder of the Hypnosis Circle. Just like there's a magic circle, there's a hypnosis circle.
Nice.
And it's a place of online hypnotic personal development where I help people to let go of past self-limiting beliefs and take themselves from that place into a place of unshakable confidence and self-esteem, and then on to personal mastery. So that's my background, and that's the last 30 years in a nutshell. So it gives you an idea of where I've come from and to where I am today. Kermit, I noticed, just put a message there in the
Cassette or 8-track.
or 8-track. Well, I was never lucky enough to have an 8-track, but that shows Kermit's age as well.
That's very true. And I didn't realize it was called 8-track. I thought it was called A-track. I just thought it was A-track. And I'm like, is it 8-track? So I'm guessing this is completely going off the subject, but was 8-track mean there was only 8 tracks on a thing?
I think I'm guessing 8 tracks was the 8 levels of audio that they could put onto one of these things.
Right.
Whereas now, with digital tracks, you could have hundreds of audio inputs coming from all different elements and places. Whereas there, I think 8 was the maximum. So but a great way of playing music. People used to have 8 tracks in the car mainly. You know, you were wealthy if you had an 8-track in those days.
You still see it in the American movies and stuff with the 8 tracks going on and stuff like that.
Yes, you do. Brilliant. Yes, you do.
Yeah. So, how do we unlock our self-esteem and create that abundance and that confidence from hypnosis?
Great. Okay. So I guess we're going to look at what hypnosis is then. I think that's the starting point. So because like you said, you know, people will listen in and they'll hear that or think about the stage hypnotist. Let's look at what a hypnotist is, how hypnosis works and how it can help people move forward. To start with, Cuddy, you've got 2 minds, at least 2. Some people might think others, but let's start with 2. You've got a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. So you're saying, that's the conscious mind is agreeing with me. You're giving it a little nod as well, which is coming consciously. Conscious thinking power is about 60,000 thoughts a day. So by the end of the day, 60,000 thoughts, you're going to be a little bit tired. That's why
programming.
Let's compare that. 60,000 sounds massive, but let's compare it with the subconscious power. And subconscious power is 2 million processes of information per second. Okay.
Wow.
So that's the difference between the 2. In other words, if we compare that, well, that would give the conscious thinking brain, the one you're thinking with right now, about 4% of power. And so 96% of your processing power is in your subconscious mind. Between the 2, very often we think of left brain and right brain. Between the left being the logical brain and the right being the more creative brain. Between the 2 brains, we've got something called a frontal lobe. And the way I like to think of the frontal lobe is it's a bit like a black box. A hypnotist would call it a gate guardian. Okay, a gate guardian. Now, the gate guardian is your ability to judge. So at the minute,
my wife's frontal lobe is very active.
Very active. Very active. You're exactly right. You've just nailed it with what you've said there. That just shows a great understanding of a frontal lobe and the gate guardian. The hypnotist called it the gate guardian. So the frontal lobe deals with lots of body functions. It deals with things like memory and it deals with communication. One of the main things that the frontal lobe deals with is protection and survival. So it's there to protect us. It's there to look after us. And as Kermit said earlier, right at the beginning, Kermit said about how do you break forward when you've been neurologically programmed during childhood? Well, this our black box is there to protect us, but it's about 90% negative.
It is.
So we are programmed 90% negative.
Yeah.
The reason for that is for protection and for survival. So you're always looking, you're always on guard, and your subconscious is always looking for the escape route.
Yeah.
It wants to know what's the way out of here.
Yeah.
When something goes wrong, how do I get out? And so this subconscious is always dealing with that. 90% negatively programmed. Right now, with everything that's going on in the world, life gets a little bit tougher. We suffer with things such as caveman syndrome, and caveman is literally we don't want to go out. We don't want to leave the cave. 90% negatively programmed before life experience. That's the subconscious just dealing with all the negatives and all of the protection. So caveman syndrome, don't want to go out. You know, as a caveman, it's safer to stay in the cave until you really, really have to go out, because there's saber-toothed tigers out there. You really don't want to be wandering out the cage, out the cage. I'm in the cage, out the cave, and unless you really have to. So you stay in the cave until the pain of staying in there is greater than the pain of leaving. In other words, with a caveman, you get hungry.
Yeah.
And when you get hungry, you've got to go out and find the food. And so we all suffer with caveman syndrome. It's easier, safer not to do things than it is to do it. Now, this gate guardian, this frontal lobe, is your judgment, and with its judgment, it's the ability and the understanding for it to work out the difference between what's right and what's wrong.
Yep.
So if I say on the radio right now to everybody, there's a big pink monster behind you, nobody's run. Well, hopefully not. If they have, we wouldn't know anyway. But hopefully nobody runs away, because their judgment says, I don't think there's a big pink monster behind me. There's never been one before, so there's no logic for there to be one, for one to be there now. And so that's our judgment. And so these subconscious programs are literally filters that we create through our life. And so we're learning. Again, Kermit said there, is it 90% negative before any life experience? It is. And then life experiences on top can make it less negative when things go really, really well and you feel positive and happy days come along. And we create positive filters. And then in the mind, we can create negative filters when all the negatives come along.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and to really help Kermit there, or not help Kermit, but to talk to Kermit as well. Yes, your brain has a negativity bias. Completely what David's saying, and it is actually programmed to remember anything that's caused it pain. That's the sole purpose of the brain, is to keep you alive. So it remembers anything that brought you pain. Actually, that's the power of gratitude, is it's not programmed to remember any sense like enjoyable experience, because it doesn't cause it pain, which is going to kill you in the possible future. So anything that's brought you pain, boom, store that, put that into the memory, put that into the unconscious, the subconscious mind, because you're going to need that experience to make sure using the what we're talking about is, if you've burnt your hand in the past by putting your hand in fire, your brain says, right, I need to remember that. So the next time you go and put your hand near fire, there's going to be something pulling you back. Any kind of fear pops up from your unconscious, your subconscious, and especially with what people have had in their lives. And there is so many traumatic experiences have. But we're in charge of the meaning that we give that experience as well. That's something I'm very much aware of, and David will be aware of, is even a woman giving birth or being born is technically classed as a traumatic experience. All right. So every woman in the world has had trauma because they've had, who's given birth has had a traumatic experience. However, when you're giving birth, most women, ladies, would give a meaning to that experience, which is, oh, I've given birth to life. So it doesn't record as trauma. It doesn't record as trauma because the meaning that we've given to that. So a lot of the meanings that we give to our experiences are what create those unfavorable meanings that we have. Dave, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, and it has to be that way.
Yep.
We have to have these learned behaviours that become our character. We have to have this character, this ability to learn. Imagine if we didn't have this ability. You know, every time you got to your car, you wouldn't know how to open it because you'd have forgotten. And even if you did manage to open it, you wouldn't be able to drive it. And so we have to be able to learn, and that goes for the simplest of things. Our learned behavior will open things like doors for us. You know, if we look at what we do on a daily basis, Cuddy, I would say that about 95% of what we do is through learned behavior. In other
Yep.
words, it's habit. And so
Modeling.
we don't create our future from today, we live our future from the past. 95% of what we do will be things that we've done previously. We just recreate them, and so we get stuck in this this time loop. And it's good that we do it. Otherwise, again, you get to the door, you wouldn't know how to open the door and how to walk through it. You'd have to figure it out. Once you've got through it, if you're in the house, you get to another door. You've got to work out how to get through it again, even though you've just gone through. So learned behavior is important and vital for our survival, but a nightmare when it comes to making change, because we're not creating from new, we're creating from past history. And that's why you know, we have the saying from Tony Robbins that if you want to create something, do something that does. If you want to create something new, do something different.
Yep.
You have to make the change to be able to get somewhere where you haven't been before.
Yeah. And what you said there, I love the caveman analogy of the fear. The reason people get stuck and frozen is, and they don't want to move forward, is it's the pain of where it's when that feeling of pain comes out, when the pain of staying where you are is outbalanced. I love that analogy of the caveman. That is phenomenal, because that's genuinely is you will have to move forward. There's going to be pain either way.
Good.
It takes courage to want to change,
Yeah.
because you're pain stuck where you are, and there's going to be pain moving forward. But you have to choose your pain, and
Perfect.
that's the choice. That's the choice of pain. You have to choose pain, because it's not going to be easy changing in any way. And I'm sure myself and yourself, David, don't sit here on how easy change is. No, change is hard for a lot of people. And I think Kermit's got a great question again. Can hypnosis assist in neuroplasticity? Now, that's a big word, and I'm surprised I pronounced that correctly. So can hypnosis assist in neuroplasticity? Now, would you like to explain neuroplasticity first, David?
I'd love to, yeah. After you, Cuddy.
Right. I've got a really good. If I'm correct on this one, and Kermit, you are really testing us today, which is brilliant. Right. So the neural pathways of thought are created over patterns. So it's a pattern of thinking that keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. So I always use the analogy of, think of skiing or down a ski slope. Your thought patterns are the ski slopes signs that goes down. Now the skiers keep going down. So your thoughts, negativity, keep going. The same thing. You're going to keep the same neural pathways. You're just going down as if you're skiing, and they don't change. But every day you go to bed, it snows. It absolutely snows, and it blanks that out. Now, to start creating those changes with your way of thinking, is you have to start thinking differently. And when you do start thinking differently, and that's why I always say change your thoughts, change your life, is you will start creating different neural pathways with a positive option. Start seeing change, and you'll start focusing on change. You'll start feeling change. But that's where cognitive dissonance comes in. It's not, your body's not going to like the change, because the thought patterns that you've been doing are just keeping you frozen. So if this is your normal, once you start thinking differently, you're actually going to relax, but your body and your brain is not going to like the relax, because it's like, well, that's not normal. What's the problem? Again, the meaning we give to it. So yes, it does. No, don't apologize, Kermit, in any way. The great question: can hypnosis, assist. Did I explain neuroplasticity really well there, David?
Yeah, you did. Let me answer the question. Kermit, yes.
Yeah.
You did. No, you answered it perfectly. The brain, science tells us the brain is plastic and it can be remolded, and your thoughts rewire. It's as simple as that.
They
Change your
do.
thoughts, and you will rewire your brain. Your brain physically changes with the thoughts that you have. When you use hypnosis, those thoughts are amplified, and so yes, it becomes much stronger with hypnosis. Something that you mentioned there was cognitive dissonance. Could you just
Mhm,
explain, if somebody doesn't know what cognitive dissonance is?
mhm.
Cognitive dissonance is when your feelings are out of balance with your actions. So you're doing something that you don't feel comfortable with. Dissonance is used in music when things don't sound right, but cognitive
Mhm.
dissonance is when things. So if you're going to work and you hate work, you just get to work and you just feel bad all day. That's cognitive dissonance. Yeah, good. How do we use hypnosis is always a question. Or what is it? Or what's the science behind hypnosis? So
I
many.
love the science. Hit me with the science because I know my meditation. I just love it. I love how close meditation and hypnosis is. I do. I love that. So hit us with the science for
Absolutely.
hypnosis. Yes.
The science for hypnosis is the same science that is behind meditation.
Hmm.
And that is, right now we are in a waking state of mind, and that's called beta state.
Yeah.
And our brains are cycling somewhere above 14 cycles per second. 14 is on the edge of relaxation. So if you're feeling pretty calm right now, you're relaxed, you're chilled out, you've got your feet up, you're close to 14 cycles. If you're listening to this as you're on your MP3 player or radio as you're running down the road, then you're on 20, 20, 23, 24 cycles per second. Now, there's two hypnotic states. The first hypnotic state is alpha state. So
Hmm.
currently we're beta state above 14 cycles. When we lower below 14 cycles, we achieve alpha state. So that's the first state of hypnosis. Alpha state is wonderful for um, self-hypnosis, wonderful for the use of affirmations, wonderful for the use of visualizations, where you visualize a perfect future. An affirmation is where you give yourself a positive statement, such as, I'm calm and relaxed, to make you feel good. That's reprogramming the mind. Um, if we lower below alpha, alpha takes us into a deeper state of hypnosis. And the deeper levels of hypnosis can be achieved through meditation, but you would need a guide. So a guide might be a mind coach who's guiding you down there. It could be a hypnotic or a meditative audio that you're playing. And you must lower below 8 cycles per second. So 8 cycles per second, you go down into theta state. So theta is a more powerful place to program. Theta state bypasses the gate guardian that I spoke about a few moments ago, the
Hmm.
ability to create judgment. And so could he, with the wife, wait until she nods off to sleep.
I'm ready already. Go for it.
Beta state is awake, alpha state, light hypnosis, theta state is a deep programmable state of hypnosis. Delta state is the final state, and that's sleep. So every time you go to sleep, or the wife goes to sleep, you go through beta, alpha, theta, down to delta. And so I don't know if anybody on the call now has woken up this morning, but if anybody has, well, they
Love that.
started in delta state, they came into theta, they went through alpha and woke up to beta state. So if you want to bypass the wife's gate guardian, wait until she goes to sleep. And when she lowers from beta down to alpha and into theta, that's the time to whisper in the ear the subconscious messages that you want her to hear.
David, I don't know if this is appropriate in any way whatsoever, but just tell me what I should be saying. So what should I say? Kermit says, Miss Piggy's getting rewired.
Miss Piggy's getting rewired. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's it. That is the secret, Kermit. Alpha brain frequency is the doorway to the subconscious mind. And that's the same for meditation as well. You know, when you meditate, you're relaxing into alpha. Why are they the wrong way around? We start with beta, then go into alpha. Well, alpha was the first state. That was why it's called alpha. And so you'd expect alpha to be first. But it was the first brain frequency that was found. So when science came along, they found a brain frequency, they called it alpha, because that was the strongest one. And that holds true today. Alpha is the strongest of the brain frequencies. Go into alpha, make a change there, and it rewires the brain. Fast.
Yes.
Fast.
Love it. So for self-esteem, how do we use the power of hypnosis for self-esteem?
Wonderful. Okay, great question. So my starting point for somebody would be to start with a personal affirmation. You know, create your own affirmation for self-esteem. Now, an affirmation is basically a statement that you say to yourself, and generally begins with "I am." Not always, but I think for self-esteem, I am. In other words, you're going to create an affirmation that says that you are already there.
Yeah.
So I am confident.
Yeah.
Is a great starting point. I am confident. And each time you say that I am confident, you're rewiring the brain. You're changing those programs. I am confident. Now you can enhance it and go bigger with it. I am strong, positive, and confident. I am confident and have self-esteem. So you can build your own affirmation. That's a great starting point. The second place to go from there is to bolt onto that a visualization. Now, the visualization is you seeing yourself in that place. You've got to imagine yourself. You've got to visualize yourself, and it has to be something that you believe in. So maybe it's a picture. You could get a picture of yourself at your most confident and just bring that image into your mind. There was a time when you felt great. We've all felt good. We've all been confident. We've all had great success. Take yourself back to that and create a picture from there. And so when you give yourself your affirmation, I am strong, positive, and confident, see the picture in your mind. And some people see colors. Some people see images really, really clearly. Some people just think thoughts. Whatever that visualization is, if you do struggle with a picture, get a picture of yourself. Or if you don't have a picture of yourself at your most confident, find a picture of something that you would like to be. You know, there's jump on Google and find a picture of somebody jumping up and down, excited. Find a picture, an image that makes you feel good and want to be that person. But then say it as if you already own it. You must already own it. Because remember, your subconscious mind does not know the difference between right and wrong.
That's what I've written down.
It's a computer program, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Your brain is a computer. You are a computer. And you can have the best brain in the world. You can have the best brain, that you can be the smartest person. But if the software that's running the computer is junk, that's exactly what you get out of it.
And the software is the coding, it's the linguistics and the language that we use. And I still believe that people underestimate the power of thought, and they don't understand that if you're just thinking, I'm stupid, it just goes in and it keeps reverberating. And you've got to, I do genuinely, this is one of my downfalls, but I genuinely pull people up when I hear people derogatively talking about themselves. I'm like, don't do that. I am the first person to say, don't do that. Don't talk about yourself like that. it's not going to help you. It's not real and it's not true. You've made a mistake. You've messed up. And if we got enough time, I could share a story about that, because something happened to me 2 weeks ago, and only because of the training that we do and we know about now is I got with, so somebody stole a watch from me. Somebody stole a really expensive watch from me in a scam, and it hurt, so it caused that pain. And I caught that self-talk straight away, and that self-talk is the coding for things that goes on. And I absolutely nipped it in the bud after I had a little bit of a cry for about 10 minutes. I'll hold my hands up because it absolutely hurt. And then because you start creating words say, oh, well, I'm stupid for doing that. I'm like, no, you can't say I'm stupid, because then that creates the meaning. So I started saying I'm a trustworthy person. Now that linguistically, for anyone, Kermit, for Veronica, linguistically change the emotional state within yourself. It does 100% changes. So linguistically, you have to understand that those thoughts are the coding for that brain, which is the computer. And you 100%, your unconscious mind doesn't know any difference. And I'm a big fan of Bob Proctor, bless him, just passed away. If you can see it in your mind, you can see it in your hand. You can see it in your mind, you can see it in your hand. 100% true. I love that. And I love that, the power of thought.
Everything starts with a single thought.
Yeah.
A thought is the starting point of all.
Precursor to everything. Yes.
Yeah. Everything starts with the thought. You can't do anything without thinking it first. It's the most powerful tool that anybody here has.
Yes. So Kermit's asked, what if you've never had those positive feelings of confidence or achievement to understand the comparison? Kermit, I think that's a really strong question. And I think Dave's going to answer that one the best he can.
Yeah, it's hard. You can start. I guess my answer to this is start small. Start with the most positive that you've ever been and aim for there. Life coaching today tells us take small steps. Don't aim for big. Don't aim for the highest. Don't aim to be the most positive, strongest person in the world. And if that isn't you, don't use that affirmation either. Don't go, big. Don't go, I am strong, positive, and confident. It could be an affirmation that I take small steps each day. It's still okay to do that. It's called the Goldilocks Syndrome.
Oh, I like that.
Goldilocks didn't like the bed too hard. Goldilocks didn't like the bed too soft. She liked it just right, just in the middle. And it was the same with the porridge, not too hot and not too cold. Because when you start to step outside your comfort zone, don't run. Don't throw yourself into positive change. Just take a step. If you throw yourself out of the comfort zone, the Goldilocks syndrome says that you'll be like having an elastic band attached to you. You'll run out and you'll fly back again with so much force it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Set a goal where you could take a small step, small step each day. Something that I love is I run I have a Facebook group online, and we do the 28-day challenge.
Yep.
And the aim of this is to grow 0.5% this week. And if I said to you, can you grow 0.5% this week? Well, the answer is yes, because that might be reading a couple of pages of a book. It might be listening to a video, a motivational video on YouTube. It might be jumping onto an awesome radio show like you've got here and listening and learning. You're going to grow a little step, 0.5%. Now, at the end of the month, that's a 2% increase. That's not going to change things massively, but do it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Do it for 10 years. In 10 years, that's 1,000% increase. Imagine if you could be 1,000% better in 10 years. What would that mean to you? 1,000% bigger, better, and stronger than you are today. Yeah. And yet it's only 0.5% this week. And imagine if you'd grown 1,000% in the last 10 years. Well, all you need to do is take a little step and just do 0.5% this week, and you're on your way to 1,000% change.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. No, I love it. I do. I love it. And I've always enjoyed the conversations we've had about because I've always done meditation and hypnosis, and we've always had those that banter of the difference between hypnosis and meditation.
Yeah.
And I love it, David. And David Green. So Kermit is called David Green. And he's been banned on Facebook, so he's come back in through YouTube, because you can watch us live on YouTube or catch us up on YouTube as well, Twitter and Facebook Radio. So David, or Kermit, I think we should call you Kermit for a long time. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Now, we've still got 10 minutes left, David.
Okay.
And I would like to really, really keep pressing on. If there's any other way that we can help anyone, by all means, get in contact. So, David, how do we get in contact with you?
Okay. Well, I've got a free gift that I'd like to offer people.
Oh, we love a free gift.
It's a free gift. Okay. Can we mention that? You know, you were just saying then the difference between hypnosis and meditation.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, hypnosis is better. Goody. I was just trying to slip
under the table. It was under the breath.
It went in the
under the breath, as if he's not going to notice. I'm going to subliminally just blast meditation out of the water.
It's in the subconscious. The job is done. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night. Enjoy the meal.
What I'd like to share with you is 8 superpowers. Sorry, 10. I can give you 10. 10 superpowers of the subconscious. Are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Get your pen. Write this down, because this is going to change your life and change you from a mind coach to a master hypnotist. You'll be begging to believe. Here we go. Shall we start off at number 10? Shall we make this big?
Number 10. Number 10.
Number 10. Point number 10. So this is 10 superpowers of the subconscious. A drum roll. Can we get a drum roll? We start at 10 with your brain's a computer and your mind is the brain software. We've mentioned that. That's point number 10.
Love it.
Number 9. The subconscious is 96% more powerful than conscious thought. 96% more powerful. Subconscious is 96% more powerful than conscious thought. Number 8, if we work that out, it's 30,000 times stronger. 30,000 times. Where do you want to work? Do you want to work with a conscious mind or a subconscious mind? 30,000 times stronger. That's number 8. Number 7, the subconscious controls the physical. Subconscious is allowing you to talk. It's allowing you to breathe. It's even beating your heart right now. It's number 7. Number 6, subconscious is the controller of your nervous system. It controls your fight and flight mechanisms. It's the home of your memories. It's the power behind your emotions, your beliefs, and your core values, which you spoke about earlier with dissonance. If you're getting cognitive dissonance, it's because you're working against your subconscious mind. You're working against your core beliefs and your values. That's why you feel bad about it. Number 5, counting down.
Love it.
It's your character. In other words, we spoke about this, Cuddy. It's your learned behavior.
Yeah.
It's who you are. And the wife would say it's the law. It's your character. It's your learned behavior. It's who you are. Number 4, a huge superpower of the subconscious doesn't judge. It believes. It only has the ability to believe. So you're starting to believe you need to be a hypnotist. And that's because of the power of the subconscious mind. doesn't judge. It just accepts it as the truth. And Cuddy, you know it. In number 3, access the subconscious, and the change is instant. It's not just fast, it's instant. As David said, the subconscious mind rewires the brain.
Yeah.
It's the neuroplasticity. It rewires and it changes, and it is instant. That's number 3. Number 2, one thing that hypnosis can do, number 2 is that the subconscious mind has the ability to be controlled and the ability to reset.
Yeah.
Just like a computer. If you've got a problem on a computer, you install a program and it's not compatible and it does harm, you can reset the computer to yesterday. Your mind is exactly the same. You can reset it and go back. In other words, we call it regression. Hypnosis is the only tool that gives you a power of regression.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number 2. And the big one,
Go for it.
You sleep.
What's that?
You learn as you sleep.
Oh.
It takes no time. You don't have to take any time. You can play a hypnosis audio as you drift off to sleep, and you can reprogram your brain. Or you could sleep with a hypnotist. What? Yours. And so the gift, I've got a gift. Did you know, Cuddy, today is a random act of kindness day?
I did not, and I should know things like that.
17th of February, a random act of kindness. And so I'd like to do that. I'd like to offer all the listeners a free gift. And it really is completely free and worth having. I've got a website for them to go to, if that's okay, Cuddy. It is www.hypnoticsecret.com. That's www.hypnoticsecret.com. Go to hypnoticsecret.com, put in your email address, and you can download a free Hypnotic Secret ebook. And I'd like to offer everybody 3 free hypnosis audio downloads.
Nice.
3 audios, completely free of charge there. And that will help them to boost the self-esteem, boost the confidence, completely free of charge. And my random act of kindness for the day.
Hey, and a salute as well, David. Nice. We have only got 3 minutes left. Actually, it's 2.5 minutes left. David, I have to say thank you, because I know you've got a very, very busy timetable, but there's been so much value in this radio show. For our listeners, David did ask, and bless him, because I get asked these questions an awful lot. If David can turn a man into a chicken, can he turn a frog into a stable human? Absolutely, David. If there's anyone, if you want to work with a mind management coach or a hypnosis, sorry, I don't know what, hypnotist, there's so many things you can do, and you are already a stable human being, or somebody of your friends is already a stable human being. They just don't identify as that. And that's what we work with. It's all in that unconscious and subconscious mind. It's just a beautiful thing once you start working with someone and to start having that belief in yourself of what you are and what you can be. And it's not taught in schools, David. We talked about this before the show went live. It's not taught in schools. But to get these instances where we get to chat and get to share that message, David, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, Cuddy. For me, hypnosis is the difference between taking a bicycle or a jet plane.
Yeah.
Master your mind and you master your life, whatever technique you use, whether it's hypnosis, whether it's meditation, whether it's something else. Master your mind, take control of your life.
Yes, absolutely. It's a powerful thing. And for any of our listeners on there as well, you can always head to monkeymindrelaxation.com. The next uptake has just started for the March Madness Mind Management course, of which is 6 weeks of live coaching, of where you get to master your emotions, master your mind, change your thoughts, change your life. It's all in there. It's a phenomenal course. Check out the testimonials on Monkey Mind Relaxation Testimonials. David, Gratitude as always.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Cuddy.
Dave, it's been amazing, mate. Thank you so much. I genuinely enjoy our chats, and we should have more. I think we've got about 5 seconds left. So my random kind of act of kindness is big love from Cuddy as always. Thank you, David. Much